Welcome and thank you for joining me today. We're going to be painting this autumn leaf here. A nice bright red on deep reds, but on a nice bright yellow background. So let's get some of our mixes going here. We'll mix the shadow behind the leaf and the leaf first, and then we'll get that yellow background in later. So let's start with a bit of crimson. We're going to bring that up in value with some titanium white. A reference over here. And get a little bit of a... It's actually not bad for the highlight values. I like that for the highlights. So we're gonna mix crimson. I'm gonna mix more of that up though, just to make sure I've got enough. And then we'll add in some more to bring the value down for the rest of the... you can see this or not. There we go. That's better. Not washing it out quite so much. That's a little bit high in value yet, so we're going to bring down a little bit more of the crimson. And this is almost basically is a pink. And those highlights do have what appears to be almost pink. And so we're going to move this off to the side. And then we'll bring down some crimson into this. And there's a nice color. I like it. I'm probably going to have to go grab some more crimson here. So if you step over here a second. Put some more crimson up here. Bring down some more of that. We're going to work off of this side. We may not have to go much beyond our base crimson. Probably bring down a little bit of blue and take it a little bit more purple. With just a touch of black to desaturate it for our deeper shadows. Yeah, it's pretty close in value there. Not sure you can see it there. There's also a touch of, just to desaturate a little bit here. So you can see we've got our shadows leaning towards more into the lights. We get our lights, and then we get our highlights. And that's for the leaf itself. There's a touch of green still in this leaf where it didn't get all the chlorophyll out. So let us pull down a little bit of green here. Gotta clean my palette knife off. For this green, we're going to start with a little bit of yellow green. Look at the permanent green. There's not a lot of green in here. Just a couple of veins that are still a little bit green showing in here. And we've got, make sure this is still way too bright. I think we're going to add a little bit of black in here too. Check this against the value here. Definitely too intense. Add a little bit of Naples yellow and a little bit of black to kind of keep the value close, but pull out some of that color so it doesn't pull too much attention away from the. So grab a little bit of the Naples yellow. Not a lot. Pick up a little more of that Naples yellow. It didn't quite saturate. I'm going to actually use a little bit of burnt umber, I think. Yeah. Alright. Take a little bit of this. Bring in some yellow green and some yellow off to the side just to make kind of the highlights in there. Alright. So we have that. And that'll help us get in around there. Alright. Now we need to make some shadow for the background. And we have a very yellow, warm background going on today. I'll bring that up in value some actually with some white. Kind of soften it out a little bit. So we got a yellow going on here. I apologize for my technical connection here. Hopefully it doesn't cause too much stuttering in the process. It doesn't cause you to drop off. Alright, so we're going to bring some of this, just a touch, bring it down about half. A little bit of umber in here. Just so that we can bring the value down a little bit to show this gradient in the background as we get further away from the light. We do pick up some. Still too much. Alright. Yeah, it's pretty good. Alright. Get this mixed together pretty good here. Probably gonna have to add to this as well. But for the shadow right behind the leaf, take some of the yellow and like a bit more of that burnt umber. So we really want this to show distinctly darker. We may even add a little bit of black because this is pretty extreme shadow. The light's pretty direct and pretty close, so that near total blockage by the leaf really does bring this down a bit. We even add a little bit of black into this. Alright, I think that'll do the job. So we have our reds for the leaf, a little bit of green for the veins. We'll be picking up a little bit of white in here for really highlights down that main vein down the center. We'll be using some of this out here for more of the stem color. And then we've got our shadow that's cast directly behind the leaf, and then the varying background. We'll be blending these two together. Make a nice gradient across the background to set the piece. We'll start off with that number 6 filbert. It's one of my favorite sized brushes. And to do enough detail of the edge and still move enough paint. Let's see here. Got a jagged shape. I'm gonna come around this way. Got the stem. Alright. So starting with the stem, actually, I think I'll just pick a spot and lay it on and start going. And since everything's going to kind of be in relation to this stem, how I make this, the size I make the stem is going to impact the size of the rest of the painting. And I'm making the stem wider than I want to. So I'll be cleaning that up in a little bit here. Just trying to get it out. This darker area right over here. So I really like autumn. We actually picked up this leaf here particularly on a little hike my family was taking. There's a nearby nature center that's really pretty nice that we get to take our little kiddos down to. So many things in nature that are very nice to capture. Just gotta, when you see something pretty, all you gotta do is look around. There's so much wealth of beauty out there. And I like being able to capture some of what I find beautiful anyway, for other people to appreciate. It's one of the reasons I like to paint. I'm going to go ahead and use this value to brush in the general rest of the lines to hold the place for the leaf. Looks like we're getting a bit of shadow underneath the leaf right here. Possibly a little bit here with the stem up in here. So what's your favorite color leaf in the fall? I really like when the reds first start showing up in the against the greens, but I also really like then the bright orange. Once the tree pretty much gets entirely orange, I think that's really, really pretty. Hopefully I get some time to edit these streams down after the fact and bring them down to a more consumable time frame. Right now I know the hour and a half to 2 hours they turn out to be is a bit much for people to commit to watching, especially if they're not able to paint along. But all in good time. Time's the one thing that I imagine most people just plain don't have enough of. Looks like any detail here has kind of rolled over already. Alright, we almost got the shape laid in. Alright, so we got basic shape of the leaf out here. So now we're going to start laying the shadows on the leaf down where they are darkest. Got this edge rolling away from the light here. Even the center vein is pretty dark in this section. fold right in here. Really dark value laid in here. We have a bit of a fold road in here. Tip up here is extremely rolled away. And actually, right along this edge, very little bit of a roll here that's not quite captured. That we're gonna roll into the light from. Alright, we're going to move up in value a little bit here. There's some out here on this leaf. This part of the leaf anyway, along this edge. We've got some kind of green-brown mix here that we'll add in a little bit. Along this vein we've got a nice staggered value, not quite as deep and dark as the darkest value we have in our leaf, but it definitely has its share of darken. You can see we're gonna roll a little bit out of the light, out of the shadow here into some light. Some highlight's gonna come in here. I should be going more right to left to play better into my left-handed painting. That I use my left hand for that, but those things are afterthoughts. You know, it'd be easier if I didn't have paint over here to paint this over in this area. So what got you into painting? I think as I've mentioned before, I used to primarily run a blog with some poetry and got into making some digital imagery to go along with some of the poems. And decided that my artwork wasn't quite where I needed it to be, where I would like it to be, to really capture the images I was making. And so I tried my hand at pastels for a little bit, just trying to learn on my own. When I discovered the Evolve program and really liked the idea of getting into oils, more traditional and stable format. I had liked working with pastels, but I found their amount of care, their delicacy, a little bit more cumbersome to work around when it came to getting ready to ship the painting to somebody and providing all the care instructions necessary that aren't necessary for a oil painting. And it doesn't hurt to have some of the same care, but oil paints are a little bit more durable once they've cured. You don't have to worry about somebody bumping the picture and causing dust to fly all over it and changing what you actually laid down. So while I intend to get into some digital, I've been enjoying this traditional format. I like having an actual painting when I'm finished that I can directly hand to somebody without having to get a print. It's going to be more than a print ever will be. It is the actual paint laid down by hand, and I appreciate that particular quality of working in traditional medium. What medium do you prefer to work in? And hopefully if you're painting along here, you're getting to use a similar medium. But I'm pretty sure you could paint along in watercolors or acrylics and get a similar result. Trying to lay this value down and pretty much everywhere I see it, but as I'm talking, it's kind of taking away a little bit of my focus, so it'll end up being the result it is, and that's going to be okay. I know I'm by no means the best painter out there. Far more people have a lot more experience. And that's really the name of the game. As you get experience, your quality is going to improve. So that's why I hope you're able to paint along here today. We'll get better together. ready to go into the full light views. Full light hues, I mean, values. There's a little bit of something going on down in this area that's still a bit in the darker range, so it's going to be more in the light because of the angle. So this was in shadow, the other side will be in light. So I'm going to clean my brush off here. I'll start picking up some of our full light values. And we'll lay that inside. And at some point, you just have to put the paint on canvas and work with it until you have the result you're looking for. It's great if you can lay that in initially. You don't have much adjustment to do because that'll save you a lot of time. But don't let the fear of not being able to get it right the first time keep you from applying any paint to your canvas. So that'll slow you down more than anything. Fear is definitely an enemy. It's funny to talk about people, to listen to people that have been painting for 20 and 30 years talk about their level of imposter syndrome that they get every time they step up to a canvas. Is this going to be the one that I fail? And it's even more so when you're painting in front of people, or in this case, in the live stream. Is this going to be the one that everybody thinks I'm a fraud? But I don't have quite the experience in as a lot of people, so I can always lean on that a little bit and say, well, you know, I'm still learning, still growing, probably will be growing my whole life, what's left of it. Because I have a lot to still learn to really bend this medium to my liking. Make sure we capture that with the dark shadow value behind the leaf, because that's really what we're seeing, is a spot where there's leaf missing and the dark behind is what you're seeing. That shadow that it's casting. Yep, that's that main vein. Alright. Lay this in with some thought for where that vein shape lies in here. This one comes out. So yeah, a little bit of a bug here bothering me, flying around. They get to be bad this time of year as the weather changes outside and they want to move in where it's warm. Alright, so get this to fill over here. We're going to bring some of our green over right here for these marks. So, I'm going to paint on it and then I'm going to add the green in, which will mix into a brown. Trying to paint a little bit lighter so I see the indications of what I want to do there. Vein that comes out this way. We got our main vein over here. Put some of this back on the edges here.